What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James with his co-host Kaelyn, and we're going to discuss what else? Mainstream MMA. So let's get right into it. Last week we had the UFC Fight Night going on, and we did our picks. It was Barbosa versus Gigachigazi. Wow, I already blanked on his name.
Gigachigazi.
Gigachigazi. And I just said it like 2 minutes ago.
I know.
Awesome.
You said it like five times 2 minutes ago, too.
Yeah,
Great.
That's how my days has been going. It's just, all right, let's just forget everything.
Yeah.
So we had that in the main event, and we did our picks. And overall, you beat me in the picks. It was 5-3. So you did a damn good job on the picks. I was lackluster in my picks performance. But we'll just start from the bottom with Muradov versus, I couldn't even pronounce this guy's name, so I'm not even going to try again.
Gerald Mearshart.
Gerald Mearshart got the win. Round 2 at 150 by submission. And you picked, we both picked Muradov. And
great.
that was a no-go for both of us.
Yeah.
Did you happen to catch this fight?
No, not that one.
Not that one? All right, well then, you know what? Let's just keep moving up this card. And then we have Petrovsky versus Gilmore. And you chose Andre, and I chose Michael, and the gentleman did not do the job.
Yeah.
Andre got the win. Yeah, exactly. He got the TKO in the third round at 312.
That's good for him to be able to do that when you first get into UFC and it's your first actual, UFC fight. So
especially when you score 4 takedowns.
Yeah.
I mean, out of 9, which is crazy. Wow, you went for 9 takedowns. Holy cow. But even to score 4, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got the pick on that. I did not. I failed. Kevin Lee lost.
Yeah.
And we both picked Rodriguez, so we're doing all right. Yeah.
Did you watch this one? What do you think about this one?
I did not watch it, but yet from what I had heard that Rodriguez went out there and performed really well, and Lee just
did.
Didn't look very strong.
He actually has been getting, I noticed, like over his past couple fights, he's been getting a lot more technical. He's still kind of, I don't know. He's not like wild, and sloppy. He is actually technical, and he's getting a lot better. But I think Kevin Lee didn't he change weight classes again for this one? This one was
I believe so. I don't think he's found the right combination that he needs in order to be successful yet.
It sucks because there's some people that their weight and their body frame and how they retain, their weight and their muscle mass and stuff like that. They're kind of in a weird spot when you break up into weight divisions. You're either cutting a lot of weight and you're the bigger guy, or you're the smaller guy, or you're kind of like weird in between both to where you can't really find what's comfortable and where you can dominate at. And I think that's Kevin Lee's issue. But this Daniel Rodriguez guy is getting a lot better. I was
work in progress.
Yeah. So I don't know what's next for him, but I'm kind of excited.
Especially when you throw that many strikes, like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that fight. That was a good fight.
All right, let's go ahead and keep going up the fight card. We have the Ultimate Fighter contestants. And we had Brady versus Ricky, and Pretty Ricky got the split decision. Man, total strikes. Holy cow. He was nonstop.
Busy. He was. This was a really, really good fight. I agree with it being a split decision. Ricky threw a lot of strikes, but also Brady had gotten some takedowns, so I didn't know exactly how the judges were going to score it. Yeah, I didn't know how they were going to score that because even though he took a lot of strikes, he did get those takedowns. I thought maybe because I've seen judges give more for takedowns, even though the guy's getting pieced up on his feet. I agree with the judges on this one because even though Brady got takedowns, he got lit up. He had Ricky did a lot of damage, so I think the judges saw that and leaned more towards his way because of that. Which I think that's how it should be. I think if the other guy clearly busted face, and the other guy doesn't look like he got touched, I think you should give extra points for that, or at least lean towards that way for that guy that did the most damage. Brady's really good though. I think I picked Brady. I don't remember, but
I picked Brady.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I picked Brady, and you picked Ricky. So
okay,
you had the right one there.
I thought that Ricky would win. I wanted Brady to win. I just didn't think he was going to do it, but I was still going for him, kind of. But he was really tough, though. He hung in there, got his takedowns, which was really good, but I guess it just didn't get enough. And with all the damage that he took, the judges gave it to Ricky. Ricky's good. He's weird. I don't know. If you ever watch him fight, he's just kind of
unorthodox in his style.
Yeah, he's all over the place, kind of, but it works for him. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's strange. I don't know. He's got so much energy to move around like that.
So would you think he's maybe a non-wrestling Clay Guida, even though he did score 2 takedowns?
No, he is kind of like a Clay Guida, though. He's that's a good analogy, I guess. A good comparison. But this was a really good fight. This guy, Ricky, I want to see him fight, someone, another UFC guy that's been there for a while and see what happens. Should be
well, he's on his way, especially getting that win and becoming the Ultimate Fighter winner.
Yeah, so he's definitely one to watch now. So we'll see what happens.
Right. And then we had Brian Battle versus Gilbert Urbina.
Yeah.
Brian Battle. Let's see. We both picked Battle.
Mm-hmm.
And he got the win by submission the second round at 2:15.
Yeah. So that was a good fight. Brian Battle did really good. I was cracking up because I was watching it earlier, and Michael Bisping was one of the commentators. So he was he's like, man, Brian Battle, that's a cool last name. That's like the best last name to have for a UFC fighter. But then he's like, but Pooh Bear is the worst nickname you could have. It was so funny.
That's true. It's not very strong of a name.
He's got his accent that he talks in, and just it makes it more funny to listen to him. He's hilarious. But anyway, this was a good fight. Brian Battle, he's good. He's good all around. He got him with his submission. The submission, though, I don't think his arm was actually under his chin, but man, he said that with the force that he has and the type of hold that he had him in. I know Bisping was saying that it doesn't matter if it's under the chin or not. It hurts. You will submit just because of the pressure.
It went from a choke to a neck crank.
Yeah, that's why. Because he said just from the pressure, you're going to tap out from that, whether it's under the chin or not. So, and he did. But this guy lost the fight to get into this fight. He lost that semifinal to get into this fight, and Tresean Gore was supposed to fight Brian Battle, but got an injury, so they put Gilbert Urbina in, but he had actually lost to Tresean Gore, so I wasn't really surprised that he lost, though. I was kind of expecting that. I don't know. It's a good fight, though.
All right, and then we have the main event. We had Edson Barbosa versus Gigachigazi.
Yeah.
There we go. I got it back.
Man, I don't know. This guy, Chikazi, he's doing really well.
Yeah, we've seen him multiple times over the summer, and he comes out and just performs. He does a phenomenal job, and that's why he's moving up the rankings the way he is.
Yeah, but they're also, I think UFC is doing a really good job at getting this guy some good fights to bring him up, because he is a kickboxer. He came from kickboxing, and now he's doing MMA. A lot of times fighters that come from a striking background that get into UFC. They get thrown in there with a bunch of wrestlers, and you can clearly see that they are not wrestlers, or jiu-jitsu specialists. So the fact that he's gotten to be, I believe he's undefeated, and then also against Edson Barbosa, who is a good striker as well, did pretty well. He kind of just overwhelmed him. So I was happy. I like him. I always like to see kickboxers do really well in UFC. It kind of just depends on UFC and who they match you up with, because they can kill you right away if they wanted to. I know.
Yep.
Who does that a lot is Bellator. Bellator likes to match up strikers with wrestlers a lot.
All the time.
Dude, it sucks. It's like, man, I know you're not supposed to cater to anyone, but also, why don't you let a fighter fight a couple fights before you throw him to, a wrestler if he's a striker,
Yeah, that unfortunately does happen quite a bit in Bellator. You're right.
Yeah, but it is MMA, so I get it. You could potentially be matched up with anyone. I just feel like Bellator does it on purpose.
It depends. You could tell that there are certain fighters that they're grooming.
Yeah.
To be like that next big thing. And so they will throw a fighter to the wolves and just be like, sink or swim, good luck.
Yeah, well, so with this guy, he called out Max Holloway after his fight. So that would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Max Holloway's so good, though, with striking. I don't know. I mean,
that would be a hell of a banger right there.
A big jump. I don't think he's going to get that fight anytime soon, but give him a couple more fights and we'll see what happens. He has a potential to be really good. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I was impressed. I was impressed that he beat Edson Barbosa like that. So I wonder what's going to happen next.
I look forward to seeing who they match him up with next time, because he's doing a hell of a job and he's making his way up the rankings. So
yeah,
who's next, basically?
Right. Yeah. But good for him for calling out Holloway, though, because a lot of guys are not calling anyone out anymore, and it's kind of boring.
Or they do, and it's just like, oh, and?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Now that is it for last week's fight night. Then we have this week's fight night coming up. So we're going to do our picks right now. We're going to start with, oh, God. I'm sorry. This guy reminds me of a blonde Ron Weasley.
So this guy,
if Ron was like, I'm done being a wizard, I want to start fighting. There you go.
Oh my gosh. This guy, I don't know about this guy.
Patty the baddie Pimblett.
Yeah.
Versus the Italian stallion Luigi Vendrami.
Yeah. So this is his Patty's debut, but I've heard a lot about him. I heard he's really good. I haven't seen him.
I've heard he's turned down the UFC twice.
Oh, you're right. That's what it was. Yeah, no, you're right. He was saying, this is a little, maybe it was a YouTube clip or a little tiny documentary about this guy. He was saying he wanted to wait. He doesn't care. He'd rather be ready when he gets in UFC rather than take the first chance that, like everybody else does, takes the first chance that they get. But he said no. So he
wanted to prove himself. I appreciate that.
I think he knows what he's doing. So I'm really curious to see how he does. He's really good. So I don't know. This guy, Luigi, I don't know too much about, but he's
his brother's Mario. And they're in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
I'm
interested in this one.
We have Patty at 16-3, so he's got quite the wealth of experience coming in especially for a UFC debut against 9-2. Luigi's coming off of a loss, and Patty is debuting, like we were discussing earlier, United Kingdom versus Brazil. Man,
this at 150. This is at 155. I take it, right?
It has Patty at 161, but I imagine.
Did he weigh in at that? He didn't weigh in at that.
I don't think. No, he didn't weigh in at that. That's just a weight that they put in.
Okay, that's weird. That's strange.
Luigi does not like to go to the decision, but Patty is more well versed. He's more well rounded that he'll take it anywhere.
Yeah.
I really want to go with the debuter on this one.
Oh no, I'm picking him. Yeah, that's for sure.
You're picking him? All right,
Yeah.
so we're both gonna go with blonde Ron Weasley. That's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get Harry and Hermione in the women's division. Nah. All right, let's go ahead and move on. The Baltic Gladiator. I'm going to call him by his nickname because that name, no. That's all no for me. It's a hard pass. Versus Khalil Roundtree Jr.
So I love
11-4. 11-4 against 9-5 and 1 no contest. Both are coming off losses. Man. Damn, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And their wins by.
Yeah. I don't know too much about this Modestas guy, but Khalil Roundtree I really like. He's gotten, since he first got into UFC, he's gotten really good in his last couple fights, or last 2 fights. You know, he first got into MMA and he was like, I need more experience. He went to Thailand for a while and did Muay Thai. And then once he got back, his first fight back, he he looked like a professional Muay Thai fighter. And I forgot whose opponent was, but he did really well and finished the guy with, I think it was leg kicks. He's really good on his feet now. So I was super impressed. And I like that he did that. I like how he went to Thailand and dedicated a lot of time there.
Yeah, you got to work on that striking, and that's the best place to do it.
Yeah, I think he went to Tiger Muay Thai. I think that's where he went. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure. But once he came back, he was a brand new fighter. It was insane. It looked like he came from Muay Thai. That's what he looked like. And he did really, really well. He looked really solid. His leg kicks were so strong. I think he lost the fight after that, though. So I don't know. I don't remember where this guy's at with his fights. And maybe this is the fight he's coming off of a loss to. And I forgot who it was. But I'm going for him. I'm going to pick him. Hopefully he gets his shit back together. And gets this guy, so we'll see.
All right, so who do you have? Just double checking.
Khalil Roundtree.
Khalil Roundtree. All right, I'm gonna go with the Baltic Gladiator just because his intense look on his face scares the shit out of me, and it's just a picture. So I'm just gonna go with him.
Lithuania, man, Lithuania. There's not a lot of people from there, but there are a couple in UFC that are from there. It's kind of cool.
True, and I just wonder, do they smile because this guy looks super serious?
I don't know, but the last girl that came from Lithuania collapsed on the scale. I forgot her name.
Ooh, bad weight cut.
Yeah, it was really bad weight cut, so she collapsed. Unfortunately, crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and move up this card. We have Alex Morono versus David Zawada. 19-7 with 1 no contest and 17-6. A wealth of experience between both fighters. Morono was coming off of a win, and Zawada is coming off of a loss.
Yeah, I think Alex Morono fought not that long ago, and I forgot who.
It had to have been really recent because I know we talk about it every week. So
yeah,
I remember him.
I think he did really well, so I'm going to pick him. I don't know anything about the other guy.
I don't know anything about the other guy as well. He does have more efficient grappling, but I, too, will also go with Morono. All right, and then we're going to keep going, and we have a guy that I've really come to appreciate in the heavyweight division, and that's Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
That guy's legit against Sergey Spivak.
Do you remember him? Do you remember the polar bear? No, he didn't fight he fought.
No, I remember him fighting, and I think I picked against him, and he won.
Yeah.
And he kicked ass.
He did. Yeah. But I think
this is a good fight. Like, this is a really good heavyweight fight. I'm still going to pick Aspinall. I'm such a fan of his.
Really?
Although the polar bear is badass in his own right. So this fight's good, is really equal opportunity. It can go either way.
It's 13.
But since we have to make
14, so that's gonna be
but since I have to make a pick, I'm going to go with Aspinall.
Yeah, I'm going to pick him too.
But this is a fight I'm really looking forward to because both these guys go out there and lay it all on the line out there. I appreciate these guys. Going, and then we have the main event of the evening: Darren Till versus Derek Brunson. Number 5 versus number 7. 22-7 versus 18-3-1. Till is coming off of a loss, and Brunson's coming off of a win. This should be an interesting bout. I do expect it to go the distance, though.
Didn't Derek Brunson just fought Kevin Holland, didn't he? That's what that
yes,
was.
I want to say that was his last fight. If not, that was
and he kicked his
one
ass
of his more recent fights. Oh, yeah, he just beat the tar out of him.
He did really good. But Darren Till, I have not to. He hasn't fought in a while. I don't know what he looks like now. I know he talks a lot of shit online, but I didn't expect to see him fight already. Oh man, I don't even know. Just because Darren,
gotta watch out if he talks a lot of smack online. Those
he's
Twitter
funny.
fingers might give you carpal tunnel.
He's funny, but I think this is gonna be a good fight. Oh man, I don't know. I think what Derek Brunson would have to do is wrestle against him.
Oh yeah.
So if he could do that, I think he could win. But he has to do that. I don't know.
I see Brunson by decision.
Really? A decision? Yeah, I'm gonna pick Derek Brunson also.
All right, folks. So those are our picks for this coming up fight night tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens. I mean, there's only one fight we were really split on, so that could be the big difference maker for us in the way of scores. So we will see what happens. All right. Justin Gaethje had some comments, and he said that the lightweight division has become the laughingstock of UFC after Khabib retired. Now, I could see why he would say that, but I completely disagree with that because you have so many strong fighters still, even though Khabib's gone. Khabib was the GOAT of that division, yeah, but you still have so many strong guys repping that division.
Like, you literally have everyone else. So
exactly, pretty much. I just don't get, is he just doing it just to, hey, look at me, listen to me?
No, I don't think he's doing that. I think he's offended that Michael Chandler came in and just did whatever he wanted to do. Like in his debut, he kicked ass, which is good for him. But I think that he was given a really good shot right away when he got into UFC. And I think people are mad about that because they had to work so hard for so long just to get a title shot. And now that Khabib's gone, I think he feels that, well, no one cares anymore about rankings.
He could be mad about Chandler, but you can't tell me Chandler didn't earn that fighting in Bellator and competing there and being champion there and having some wars there. Given it is a different promotion, yes.
It is. So I don't think people care about
those
that.
Those are still wars.
I don't think that honestly don't think that UFC fighters think that that's okay still. I think that they need to go through some fights before they get a title shot like that.
Well, I do agree with that. I do feel like at least 2 fights, amazing performances, title shot. That's how I think, though. And of course, UFC is, got to get that dollar. So he had a great performance. Boom. Let's put the rocket on his back and send him to that championship.
Yeah, they did send him straight to the top, though, right away. So I can see why Gaethje's. I think he's offended because he's actually doing really well too for himself. Gaethje is, and I think that he thought he would get the chance before that. So, I could totally see why he's mad. I think him and Chandler should fight.
Yeah, why not? Hell yeah. That'd be a great fight. I think Gaethje's gonna in the overall scheme of it.
Or just give Gaethje the title shot. Let him do it. Whatever. And then Chandler.
Well, now yes, because Chandler already fought. Chandler lost. So give it to Gaethje. Let him go. Let him do it.
Exactly. Let them both fight. I don't think Justin Gaethje wants to fight him though. Maybe he's mad because he thinks he's gonna fight him. I don't know, but both of those guys are really good. So I think it'd be a really good fight between either of them, including Charles Oliveira. So, he's gotten really good too. So I don't know.
Which is so crazy that he's been there for so long.
Yes.
And yet
I know,
now he's the champ. Now he's doing
Khabib's gone. That's one hurdle that everyone had like as a burden in that division to get through. But now that Khabib's gone, now we really get to see who in the rest of the division is actually really good. He had a lot of time to grow, and I think he's perfect where he's at right now. So, I'm interested to see if he keeps that or not. So I don't know. All three of those, I want to see all three of those guys fight each other.
You know what? Screw it. Let's just have them all fight at once at the same time. Just the three of them. Triple threat.
Yeah.
Well, that's I want to see Gaethje get the title shot. I think he should. He does deserve it. But to say it's the laughing stock, it's like, dude, come on, sour grapes, man.
No,
come on.
I think he's offended. He's offended that all that's going on. So I think that's what it is.
Well, man. All right. And we have the fight coming up soon with Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor Belfort, but
or not really.
Not changing plans. Card is subject to change, folks. And by that, I mean Oscar De La Hoya is out. Apparently, he has the COVID. He had the COVID. So he had to withdraw. And from what I was reading, Evander Holyfield is targeted to step in. So it will be Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, way better fight, by the way. So
I completely agree. I'm more excited about that than De La Hoya.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just am.
You know who I was actually excited about is Vitor Belfort. But now that you're going to throw in Evander Holyfield, this could be crazy. I want to watch it. I'm excited for this one.
Right?
I honestly don't care about Oscar De La Hoya. I think he's got issues. I don't know. I think it's convenient he's got COVID, but because I don't think he's going to fight anymore. Now that
you think it was just a lot of hearsay and
I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm just saying it's very convenient that he is sick or may not be sick, whatever his condition is. I don't know, but lucky for him, he doesn't have to fight Vitor Belfort. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Very true. I feel like Vitor's hands, even though so a lot of us in the MMA community, of course, know Vitor Belfort for having lightning fast hands, but he's not a boxer.
Right.
So the footwork in that way isn't there. Yet the hand strength is. Yet with Evander still being a boxer, yet a heavyweight, I think it is a much more exciting bout because I feel like they will go out there and they will strike. Even though you have Evander Holyfield, who is a boxer and will use his footwork as well as his boxing style. He won't brawl.
Yeah. So what is a weight class here for this? Because
it's going to probably be a heavier catch weight, I imagine, because you have Evander Holyfield, who is a heavyweight, a legit boxing heavyweight, former heavyweight champion, by the way.
Yeah.
That it will be a catch weight at a heavier weight division. So if Vitor, say he weighs in, let's play pretend, say he weighs in at 205, that's fine. If he goes higher, I mean, because the boxing weight classes are different than MMA weight classes.
Right.
So it'll just be a catch weight, I imagine. And because it's such short notice, they'll be like, hey, how much do you weigh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's what you're going to pretty much fight at.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like all these boxing matches that are going on with MMA guys versus boxers or, whatever, the weight classes are very off. I know we're probably going to talk about the Paul fight against Tyron Woodley.
Yes, we will discuss that.
Which reminds me of why do these guys have to always fight MMA guys that are smaller than them? Why is it always like that? Why can't we have an even weight? Why can't they weigh the
I
same?
feel like those are the guys who are like, I'll do it. Because could you imagine
wish-
DC fighting one of the Paul brothers?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That might be interesting.
That would be interesting. I think he's not a boxer, but he's got pretty heavy hands, so I think he'd do all right for himself.
Man, I know, but MMA and boxing are different techniques. I know that
Very true.
they say there is boxing in MMA, which there is. It's just different.
But it's the way it is used is different. So
yeah, their stance is different. So your punches are different.
The speed is so different. A boxer's speed, because all they do is punch, it's off the hook. It's off the rails. It's nuts. But a MMA fighter is slower in the way of boxing. So
I think MMA fighters pick their shots. They're more picky with their shots, you know?
Yeah.
And for them to just go into boxing, it's like, okay, now you got to actually throw more hands, you know? Like, I wish Tyron Woodley would have done that, but.
I mean, didn't he knock him down in that fight?
Yes, he did. He knocked him through the ropes, actually. So I got really excited at that point. But Tyron Woodley was already in trouble, though, before that. So I'm like, man, if he gets back up, then he's still in trouble. And, of course, I think Woodley thought that was enough. I think he got his, you know, he was happy with what he just did, even though right after.
He still had the whole fight to go?
Yeah. Pretty much. And before that, he wasn't doing too well either, to be honest. So, but man, you know, Tyron Woodley took some heavy shots and it didn't do much to him. So I was really impressed because I saw those shots land. I'm like, oh no, he's hurt. But he kept going. And then he knocked him down and he kind of flopped through the ropes real quick. Didn't go through them, but you know, his back was laying across the middle of the ropes. He had to come back in the ring. But right after that, I think Tyron Woodley was happy that he did that, and it was like enough for him or something to where he didn't capitalize on it. He just kind of went back to what he was doing before.
Now, since we're discussing Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul, did you hear about how much they made in this fight?
No, not at all. I didn't pay attention, to be honest.
$2 million a piece.
Okay. Well.
So you know what? I can see why a lot of these MMA fighters are going to fight the Paul brothers because of these large paychecks. And this is something that we talk about damn near every week about MMA fighter pay.
Yeah.
And you have Tyron Woodley, who just made the most money in a bout that he's ever made. And he was in a boxing match. So.
Right. I mean, Tyron Woodley, he makes a lot of money anyway, but.
He does. He does have multiple business ventures.
He does.
But yet, for a single bout, he's never made $2 million in an MMA fight in the UFC.
Right.
Let's just be honest about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So good for them and getting this payday.
Jake Paul, oh, he's so annoying, but
he's the bad guy.
He's the idiot. I don't know.
Of course he is. But that's the thing. He sets himself up as the bad guy because then people are going to pay to maybe see him get his ass kicked. That's what they're hoping for. Yeah, they want to see him get beat up, but it doesn't happen.
I would like to see that too.
He's like a Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people don't like Floyd Mayweather and they want to see him get beat up. The only time I think we respect Floyd. And we do like Floyd now, especially after the Conor fight, because Conor was the bad guy in that situation.
Yeah, he was.
But now we have Jake Paul and Logan Paul that are the bad guys. And so now fans, pay to see, hopefully they get their ass kicked. That's where I think we are now in the world of these celebrity boxing matches.
Yeah. I guess. Like I said, I'm waiting for a fight to be like even with these guys, like
more of a legit fight compared to retired MMA fighters.
But I don't know. Maybe this whole thing is their point. Maybe this is what they want. They don't want to actually fight actual fighters that are boxing. They fight fighters, but how about you fight another boxer that's been boxing for a while? Because I don't think it would go their way anymore. I feel like they're always picking these guys that are from MMA who they know aren't strikers. Well, Tyron Woodley was a good striker too, but I think they thought, oh, we could get this guy, you know, and then have something to prove, whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're trying to prove yet, besides make money, which is not a bad thing. But they give off that vibe to where they're like, I want to be a fighter, like a legit fighter. But, you know, they have all these matchups that are a little uneven, I guess, and they're always bigger than the other guy. So I would like to see them be even in weight and fight a guy with, how about not even a lot of experience, with just as much experience as they have as boxers. I don't think that's what they want, though, for themselves. But I do want to see that, because I think the story would be very different. The outcome would be different.
I completely agree. And I was surprised to see that it went to a split decision.
I was happy it went to a split decision, because I didn't want to see Tyron really get knocked out, because that would be embarrassing. But
that's true. That's true. But a split decision, like it, you know, that could have went either way. And it sucks that it went the way for Paul rather than Woodley. But then again,
so I was surprised it went to a split decision, because I didn't think it was a split decision. I think Paul did a lot better than Woodley.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I think that knockdown that Woodley got got him a lot of attention and points for that. So I don't know. I was happy that it was a split, because I was going for Woodley, but I almost thought for sure Paul was going to win by unanimous, but it was a split. So I don't know.
All right. Also in the news, Chad Mendes, who's now competing in bare knuckle fighting, his debut has been pushed back a month. He was actually going to be targeted for October 22nd, and now it's being moved to November. Okay. So Chad Mendes on the Rogan podcast had talked about doing bare knuckle fighting, and that was a big thing for him, because he was still had the competitive spirit, and so that was the way he went, and now it's being pushed back. Are you actually excited to see Chad Mendes compete in this? I mean, they seem to keep picking up guys, MMA fighters, that are not really competing in MMA anymore, and decide, you know what, I'll try my hand at bare knuckle fighting. And they don't last too long, you know, only a handful of fights, because it's so rough and tumble in that sense that
but these guys are already done fighting. This is their like last stop. Like, if you're not in UFC anymore, oh, what else could I do? Boxing or bare knuckle's going to take anyone. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd like to watch him fight. And I think bare knuckle boxing would be interesting. Again, he's not a traditional boxer. So
he has been training like hell, though, because he has been posting on his Instagram.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I think this whole bare knuckle thing is just like a circus, an interesting circus.
What about the Paul brothers? Same circus.
They're their own circus, and you know, for boxing, but bare knuckle in itself is a circus promotion, where I think maybe later down the line it'll be better, maybe more professional. I don't know. I feel like these fights, these guys just got out of prison, and you put them in a ring, and you know.
That's what's fun about it.
I know, I get it. But you also do have some fighters in there that are more technical, and you're like, oh wow, what a difference. Before, like, you watching the prelims to the main card, you're like, wow, that's a vast difference.
You see the build and how it gets better and better in the card.
Yeah, so the main card actually gets way better than the prelims. The prelims, it's like, I feel like they're walking outside and asking anyone if they want to come fight off the road. So the main card is actually a lot. I was really impressed with the last one I watched. I don't remember. I think it was Paige Vanzant's last fight.
Against Rachel Ostovich?
Or did I?
Or was that the one? Did you see the one before where she debuted?
No, I saw that one. I remember that one. I actually probably didn't watch this last one, just highlights of it. But you know, even Paige has a lot better technique than these guys that they throw in there with the prelims. So I was impressed with that, at least. And they do have some people that are good, but you got to get those old UFC fighters, or just the old fighter in general, not a fighter off the street, but a fighter that was professional, you know, in some form. Where they
would you be more interested to see a boxer compete in bare knuckle.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because it's like boxing, but almost better. You know?
Just bare
More
knuckle.
damage,
That's it.
I guess. Yeah. So I don't know, this whole bare knuckle thing. It's like the fighter's last stop. It's like, oh, you want to fight again, but you don't want to go in UFC. Oh, there's this bare knuckle thing that'll take anyone. And also, I think Chad Mendes was saying that they've been asking him for a while anyway, and he's just kind of been holding off because, he's retired, so you don't just like jump back in there when someone.
Yeah, he has all kinds of other business ventures. He does a lot of hunting, like he had mentioned before on the Rogan podcast.
He's very busy. He doesn't sit around, He does a lot of hunting, and I forgot what his business was. Was it a food business? I think I don't remember.
He does that. He does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so he's not like this guy is a total loser with nothing to do. He's got stuff to do, and I think he really, really does want to fight again. So bare knuckle is the easiest thing to get into, and I think he could do really well there. I'm excited to watch him.
And from what I was reading, it sounds like they may be close to signing Diego Sanchez as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know that was the talk because Diego was let go of his UFC contract after a situation with his previous manager. So that's also in the works for bare knuckle fighting. And once that happens, we will definitely be discussing that and where they go with Diego Sanchez.
Yeah. Diego Sanchez looks like he's already in bare knuckle boxing. You would assume that he is. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. You see Diego, you're kind of like, dude, have you gotten a brain scan lately?
I don't know, man. He's not bad, though. He's still good. So I think he'd be good for bare knuckle boxing, maybe to bring them up a little more, maybe give him a little more legitimacy. I don't know.
We'll see. Maybe, but I mean, how many more fighters do you need to bring in to give it legitimacy? Maybe they should bring in a boxer.
Better fighters, I think. But the only better fighters you're going to get are the ones that are retired. So it's like, who do you have to pick from that's retired that will actually do it?
Chuck Liddell.
I don't want to see him get in there, dude.
I don't either.
No one needs to see him.
I don't really want to see Diego in there either.
Me either. I want to see Tito in there either. Don't want to see it. Don't need to. It actually, I feel like it. I don't know. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him get hit in the face anymore.
I can understand that, and I completely agree. But there are fighters. Oh, how about fighters from Glory? Maybe some kickboxers.
Yeah. So I sent you something earlier about Alex Pereira. I think he said he was signing with UFC. I don't know when exactly being there, but I think sometime this year, I think they said. But so that kind of reminds me of like Gigachigazi. He came from Glory also, but Pereira has been like in the top for a long time doing Glory kickboxing. So I'm really interested to see how much more experience he got as far as wrestling and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't want to see him lose, but we'll see. I'm excited for that. There are more fighters coming from kickboxing into MMA, so that's exciting for me. I like that a lot.
That is awesome, but in the way of bare knuckle fighting, though, would that make you more interested?
Not
Say
really.
Badahari.
Not really.
Say Badahari was like, I'm going to go do bare knuckle.
No, the reason why is because they're so exciting and where they're at. They don't need to have bare knuckles to make their fights exciting. Their fights are very exciting the way they are with boxing gloves. People don't watch it. A lot of people aren't familiar with Glory for whatever reason. It's not that popular here, but this weekend, Alistair Overeem is going to fight Rico Verhoeven on Saturday. So,
are you watching that?
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's pay-per-view. I think you just order it right off of their website and watch it through there. It's not that much. I think it's like $25 or something. But those fights, if you watch them, those are exciting already. I feel like with bare knuckle fighting, people go there to be, you know, these fighters that are retired, they're like, I need to do something big, exciting. Oh, bare knuckle, that's, you know, so savage, whatever. It's like, okay. But with the Glory Kickboxing, all their fights are already exciting. You don't need bare knuckle. You don't need to see them get more beat up in order to be more interested in it, because they are so good. It's seriously like nonstop action. So I'd rather see those guys have a longer career and not do bare knuckle because they are already exciting. So I think bare knuckle takes years off your life.
I think you're right about that. I completely agree. All right, Gable Steveson, the gold medalist from the past Tokyo Games, it sounds like he might be leaning towards doing MMA. He's only 21 years old, and he's been entertaining different offers. He's met with officials from UFC, Bellator, the PFL, and pro wrestling. So it sounds, if you know, whoever gives him the better offer, will probably go with. But would you be interested in watching him in MMA, because he does have that strong wrestling pedigree?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't like pro wrestling, so I would love to see him do MMA. So, but you know, pro wrestling is going to get him a lot more money. So,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And in the way, here's what I personally think he should do: compete in MMA.
Do both.
Because
do MMA, see how it goes, then go on to the other. Because I'm sure they'll want you. I'm sure
exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's Brock Lesnar was never an Olympian, but he did find success in MMA, pro wrestling first. Excuse me, collegiate wrestling, then pro wrestling, then MMA, and then back to pro wrestling, because he actually did just make his return recently.
Did he really? He went
back?
Yes,
he did. Oh. Yes, he did. And he had he didn't have a man bun, but he had the hair back. It was like, he looked kind of like an onion.
Oh, that's not
like
good.
You know how the top of an onion looks? That's how he looks.
Oh, that's not good.
But then you have someone like Kurt Angle, who is an Olympian from '96 and won gold, and went right into pro wrestling. Like, he entertained different things. And if UFC would have been bigger, he had said that he would have competed in the UFC. Like, he would have fought MMA, but it wasn't a big deal around that time. It was pretty much underground. So wrestling was the best way. Pro wrestling was the best way to go. And then you have Roland Gardner, who only competed in one MMA fight in Pride, but he still competed. So there's so many different ventures for Gable Steveson now. That, what do you do?
I think it depends what he wants. If he has that fighting spirit that he wants to actually have competition and have it mean something, and it's not scripted, you already know what's going to happen if you actually want to compete. Because I know a lot of these guys, the reason why they got so far is because they love to compete. You know, it's that they have that in them to where if they didn't, you know, like retired MMA fighters, they always got to come back. They always got to come back because it's not over yet, you know, because it doesn't die out. The desire doesn't ever die, you know. True. I think it's there forever. And I think while you're young, do it. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, like, he is 21. I think he would find some really good success being the bigger size that he is and being a phenomenal wrestler. I think he'd be great. And then eventually, when your MMA career winds down, if you want to do pro wrestling, you still have that need, then you do it. But if you want to make more money in pro wrestling, you have to be successful in MMA. You don't have to, but if you want to make that transition, you need to be really successful in MMA, because once you start to falter, unless you're really, really popular, like a Ronda Rousey, who did that transition after a few losses.
Yeah,
you know, she made quite a bit,
really but she took advantage of her years where she was really great.
That she did.
And you don't get that back. You don't get it back. So I think he should compete in MMA if he has that desire. Just why not? You have offers. It's there. I think pro wrestling I feel like that would always be there for him. MMA, it comes and goes. Yeah. You got to grab it while you can, you know?
Very true. And I completely agree with that. I mean, look at Cain Velasquez.
Right.
He started, his career winded down and he started doing pro wrestling. So, I mean, that's It is always an option.
Whatever happened to him? How's he doing?
He
How's
was in the WWE,
that
and
pro
then
wrestling
I
going?
want to say they released him.
Let me
So I'm
guess,
not sure where he's at now. No, they actually just made a ton of cuts.
Yeah.
We actually have a comment.
Wow, they actually cut people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they cut quite a few people. They've really whittled down their
Now
roster.
with COVID, their shows probably got cut way down also. So they probably had to cut people,
Yes, that I believe. We have a comment. Ziggler has a good wrestling background. He should try MMA. I didn't realize that he did have a wrestling background. Kaelyn, Dolph Ziggler is a pro wrestler. And I know. That's why I'm breaking it down for you right now. He's a pro wrestler, a pretty damn good pro wrestler. And I actually had no idea that he had a wrestling background like that. And for him to do MMA, I think it'd be interesting. But I think kind of late in the game, we don't want him being like a CM Punk and going out there and just being like, I give props to CM Punk because he tried, but he just wasn't any good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to see Dolph Ziggler be in that same type of situation. I like Ziggler as a pro wrestler, and let's just keep him there. So that's not really like for you. That's for the comment from Tiger the Finest, which we appreciate. Thank you for the comment, my friend.
That also comes back to, if you're young, definitely try it out if that's what you want. If the offers are there, this is your time to do it. I don't know. Don't waste your good years.
Very true.
You can't go back and do MMA. It's you have that offer and you're in shape and you're ready and you're young, you should take it if you want it, because it doesn't come back, when you get older.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Gable Steveson. Hopefully he'll make his decision soon, and we will see what happens, which way he goes. And, hopefully it's the right move for him, because that's what matters. It's his choice. It's his career. It's his life. So we'll see what happens. All right. And then there was a fighter who was suspended recently, Lilia Shirakova. Wow. Sharakova. I'm Shakirova. I'm sorry, folks. Bad with names. You guys know that. Anyways, she's been suspended for 2 years because she tested positive for meldonium. There we go. And that is, from what we were discussing before the show, a thing that will help increase your cardio. It helps air flow through your blood and the rest of your body and whatnot. So it's supposed to be good for your cardio. I think that's kind of interesting to get popped for that, but it does happen. She's out for 2 years now. She was 0-1 in the UFC, so she was still fresh out the gate in the UFC. I can't, I'm kind of dumbfounded. Really, this early? You want to do that?
Yeah, but it says down there, debuting UFC athletes are typically exempt from being flagged for violations.
Really? See, I actually didn't know that. I find that really interesting.
That's strange.
It really is.
Well, okay, it looks like you got to tell them if you have something in your system, and you will not get flagged for it as long as they know. And of course you get off of it, I'm sure. I think, but what it's saying is that she never said anything about it. So that violates that. So you do get a suspension. Crazy that any fighters would be exempt from that, getting into UFC, but whatever. I guess they give that to them as long as you tell them, and I would assume get it out of your system and then you fight. But since she didn't, it looks like they flagged her and suspended her. So that's a long time.
It'll be a hot minute before we see her competing in the UFC again.
To be honest, don't know who she is. Never seen her before, but
well, she lost, so that's probably why you don't remember her.
Yeah, but 2 years, that's a pretty serious thing. That reminds me of TJ Dillashaw and his deal. I know he was on EPO I think they gave him 2 years. I think that's what it is. I don't remember. It seems like it. It was long enough. But I feel like that drug might be similar to what that one does. So it's one of the serious ones. 2 years. Wow.
Yeah, she's got some time to think about what she did.
Yeah.
All right. And then also this week, it was recently came out that Joe Rogan tested positive for COVID-19. He had like one bad day, he said, but he's also taking all kinds of rando drugs.
Ton of stuff.
But it's like, okay, but he's also a very healthy individual. So I don't expect COVID to hit him that hard.
I was actually surprised that it did hit him like that at all, being how he is, you know. I know some people have bad days, but I think that just proves how strong COVID actually is if you do get it and you're not in shape like a normal person, that it does a lot of damage. So it's kind of scary to know that it affected him, even though it was just one day. But for him to say he had a bad day, that's pretty. I listened to him a lot, so for him to say that, I think it must be pretty serious. So that's a little scary.
Completely agree. And hopefully he's feeling better, even though he's on those animal meds.
So many people
okay.
So many people are talking so much crap on it, and it's gotten so like politicized between
a lot of that stuff has as it pertains to this. So
yeah, but it's so crazy to see all these people attacking him for doing what he did. He said he took a bunch of other medications that aren't recommended by CDC or whatever. And he's getting a lot of shit from the people that probably idiots that don't really know what they're talking about either. There's
a lot of that on the internet.
I think a lot of people are mad at Joe Rogan, period, because I think he's so popular. He gets to do what he wants. And then if you don't agree with him, people get outraged. And especially over something like COVID, where people are very concerned. You got people on opposite sides that care about different things and they make their judgments based on whatever. But man, it's funny because every time someone tries to attack Joe Rogan, nothing happens to Joe Rogan. You're not going to cancel him.
No,
he does what he wants.
Spotify does not care. Spotify's going to pay him his money.
They shouldn't care, and they should let him do what he wants, because what he's doing is working for him and he's not harming anybody. People are trying to say he's harming people by saying he took all this stuff. So it's going to make other people want to take stuff that they don't know what they're taking, and it could possibly damage them. But I think if you're not a moron and just take drugs, I think you'll be all right. And I think Joe knows what he's doing. So,
well, to each their own. And as it pertains to a lot of this craziness, this is going to sound really kind of mean, but I think there's a lot of thinning the herd, and I'm super okay with it.
Wow.
This is going to sound really mean. You ready? I'm super okay with another lockdown because traffic would clear up and it would be amazing.
And then, I kind of like people not standing so close to me at the store.
And then like no traffic on the road.
Traffic was great.
Oh, it was amazing. I could go from point A to point B like that because there was nobody around.
Man,
but that's personal opinion.
The one thing that really annoyed me is having to put your mask on and off, because it's so annoying. Walking to work, you take your temperature. It's like, oh, come on, man.
At my work, we still have to do that. So
yeah, mine too.
It is what it is. Hope Joe Rogan feels better, can get back to doing his stand-up because he's got major plans for the Austin area.
He had shows, and he said he had to cancel, and a bunch of stuff got moved back like a month or two. So that sucks for him, but also kind of sucks because I don't know when he's going to come back with his podcast, because it's been a little while, but I think he said he actually got a negative test today.
Good.
Yeah, so maybe he'll start up his podcast again, and I love listening to him. I wait for his stuff to come out every week. So
it depends. I pick and choose what I listen to when it comes to him, just because if it's a guest I don't care about, I used to listen to
all of it. Now I listen to the ones I know of or like
I'll listen to the MMA one, of course. But if it's some rando, like this guy's an author, I'm like, man, I can tell you right now, I have not read any of their books.
Are all right, because he typically has really interesting people on.
Yes.
So he has the best of the best. So I do like some of the other things, but some of the ones I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, when he has an author, I'm like, is it R.L. Stein? Is it Stephen King? I don't think so. No, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. But it's also nice to hear him talk to other comedians because they're funny too.
That's true. They usually are pretty good. We do have some unfortunate news that happened in the world of MMA this week. Fighter Kyle Reyes passed away at age 30.
Jeez.
Reyes competed at Tachi Palace Fights. I saw him fight all of his fights there. I saw him compete. Really, really awful to hear about what happened. He had bicep surgery, and then his health just declined. He got an infection in one of his lungs, and it ended up collapsing.
Oh my God.
And he unfortunately passed away. And it was really awful to hear this because he was only 30 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I feel
so
like
young.
something happened. I feel like something happened in surgery that he developed. It sounds like an infection, but it sounds like I feel like something irresponsible had happened, because it's hard for just a 30-year-old to get sick and not recover after having surgery. Obviously, you had surgery. Something happened there because you weren't sick before. And depending what hospital you're at, a lot of people with COVID are there
That's
getting
true.
sick. He could have gotten, for 30 years old, it's so strange. I don't know if it was a mixture of the anesthesia and an infection, because I know when you have anesthesia in your body's just not well at all anyway. You're not fit to do anything. And if you get an infection during that time, I think it affects you a lot more. But to die, I don't know. That is very strange. I feel like something else happened there.
Still unfortunate. I mean, I saw Kyle fight, and from everything I've been reading, I never really got a chance to talk to him. I did get to see him fight, but I never got a chance to speak with him. And from what I was reading, he was one of the nicest and most gracious people ever. So, condolences to him and his family. God, such an awful thing to hear about, especially a fighter at such a young age. I mean, still hadn't really even hit
young
the
age,
big
healthy
stride.
guy. That's so strange. Something
So
happened.
sad.
I want to know what happened. But yeah, I feel like something else happened there.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us on the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you guys next time. Have a good weekend and enjoy the fights.